right now on the phone, we actually have Penelope Austin. Hi, Penelope.
Hey, guys. How are you going? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I've had, my early Friday afternoon vino, and I'm very stoked to be talking to you guys.
That's the one thing about doing live to airs in the evening. It's surprising how many people do it with a glass of wine.
Yeah, I know. I thought it would kind of be cool to maybe have a glass of red as I'm chatting to you over the phone, but, it's just not really me. I'm more of a kind of peppermint tea at 10 o'clock kind of gal, unfortunately.
I grow my own peppermint for my peppermint tea.
Oh, do you? Stop it. You're making us all look bad.
So anyway, we are actually here to talk about your music career, and you do have a brand new single, Trigger, out, which is off an upcoming album. So is this going to be your debut album?
Yes, it is. It's my album will be out later in the year. It's called Cathedral Parkway. We shot a lot of the music videos and recorded a lot of the music in Cathedral Parkway, which is in Harlem, so we thought it best to call the album, I guess where it originated. So that's due out later in the year, and yeah, my single Trigger is out, and it's really wonderful to finally hear it on the airwaves. It's quite special.
Yeah, and that was actually written and shot in New York.
Yes, it was. So we shot the music video in New York, and I wrote it there, also in my apartment. And so, yeah, a lot of my music comes from, I guess, the Northern Hemisphere. I'm a bit of a nomad and spend a lot of time on planes, trains and automobiles. So it was really nice to return to New York this time, though, with, a posse of people and a group of people passionate enough, I guess, to record the music video, as opposed to just kind of being there with a pretty bad bar job and playing guitar on the stoop of my apartment after every shift. So it was good.
Yeah. Well, your bio actually says you moved to New York in 2006 with a guitar and $150.
Yeah.
My big question is I want to know if that's a guitar you stole at school.
You've heard about that then. It was. We weren't. I came from very humble beginnings, and my parents put all of their money, into my education. And when I went to the music room one day, and I saw that there was a plentiful amount of Gibson guitars there, and probably nobody would notice if I, accidentally maybe took one home. And I did that, and it was the guitar that I took to New York. I actually took that around with me for years. It was great because I could travel with it, and it didn't matter if it got dinged up because I didn't pay thousands of dollars for it. But yeah, $150. I had no credit card, no backup. I went on a whim and a prayer, and hey, I'm alive, so it worked.
Well, you found a husband over there too, didn't you?
I found a what, sorry?
A husband.
Oh, no, I've got no husband, yeah. But I didn't really see anyone for a very long time. I was actually, I would have got sort of, I used to get called, lots of names under the sun because I was so boring. I never used to go on dates, but I do have a lover. I wouldn't say a husband, and he travels just as much as I do. So, we're on even playing fields there. But yes, that is what Trigger is about.
I'm very sorry. I got confused. I thought that your video was edited by your husband, but it's actually Caitlin's husband who edited it.
Caitlin's husband.
Right.
My lover, I'm sure, wishes he could edit like that guy can. He is amazing, Barney Miller. He did a very good job.
Yeah, and, he's worked with both the people that made this video with you have worked with a lot of big names and been, nominated for MTV Awards.
Yeah, they've been up for Grammys and MTVs. Barney Miller was an incredible producer and art director who's won, numerous awards for work he's done with Avicii and That of the Likes. His wife is also amazing, Caitlin Felton. She had actually never been a creative director before for a music video, but sort of as a deal, Barney said, I'll do this video and we'll do another one for free if you give my wife a crack. And we did, and it worked out amazing. And the stylist that we had, she worked for Vogue, and I ended up meeting her through fate when I was, a Pobo bartender living in New York with my bashed up guitar, and I met her, and years later, here she is on set styling it all. So it was kind of magic. It was great.
Yeah. And well, when can we expect to see the actual album come out? And are you releasing another single with the album release, or will there be another single before that?
I think there's I don't want to give too much away, but there's definitely another single on the horizon, which is a little bit more hardcore and maybe not so, 90s and pretty. So we've got something quite exciting coming your way. And then I think towards the end of the year, perhaps around the Arias, is when we'll drop the album.
Right. And well, you said the next one's not quite as pretty as, I guess, the first two that have been released. So then the album, how would you sum up the album?
Oh, it's such a hard question, this one, because for many years a lot of people haven't been able to figure out where exactly I sit as far as genres are concerned. But, the way I kind of describe it is the highs are highs and the lows are down low. And I guess the lyrics can be...
Hello, we've lost you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. The lyrics can be quite confronting and raw and real, and it can come across as quite, bashful and harsh, but there's elements in it that are so sensitive and vulnerable, and that's not only lyrically, that's musically through the use of emotive instruments like the piano and the cello. So the sound, I guess, is a mix between, 90s beats, I guess some electronic nodes, I guess, here and there. We've got a couple of big, female power ballad saws, and, we've got some lower sort of, I don't know, Johnny Cash-esque sort of sexy tones as well. So are you confused? Because I'm confused, but I think that's actually a good thing.
Yeah, no, it sounds like there's something for everyone.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's all very exciting. Hopefully everyone loves it just as much as I do.
And was the album recorded in America or Australia?
The album was recorded in Australia with an American producer.
Right.
So I'd been working with Robert Conley for many years developing sound, and eventually it all kind of clicked and we got the album made. We went to New York, finished off a couple of the tracks there, recorded some music videos, and then the album went off to the UK where Tenzo Townsend mixed it. Tenzo's worked with, he did Florence and the Machine, U2, Coldplay. He's got a pretty impressive roster, so I was, again, very lucky to have someone like him get his hands on my music. It's great.
Oh, hi, Penelope. This is Nadia Moth. I was just wondering, I'd like to know a little bit more about the song Trigger itself and what that's about, because sometimes I've been triggered to do things and lose a plot because of it. But, what's the song mean to you? What's it about?
Well, to me, this song ideally is about having a lover and living different lives, but also having, being parallel to that person, I guess. There are some confronting lyrics in there. It's about love, sex, passion, loss, fear of. But, to me, it is a really happy song because it celebrates the joy of love as opposed to writing about something. A lot of people tend to write about heartache and heartbreak, whereas this is about the excitement of new love and anticipating seeing that lover again and always returning back to that person, which is what I did. And, I guess when I wrote that song, I was obviously feeling loved up after a wonderful weekend. And,
Wow, that's excellent.
Yeah, and I guess, in a sense, Trigger, anyone, and like you said, lots of things trigger you. For me, this man was my trigger into all things, wonderful and exciting, and I guess that's the meaning.
Yeah, that's great. It's good to hear a positive connotation. It's usually the word trigger itself has a negative kind of connotation about it, but to hear that, this really surprised me. That's great.
Yeah, I had a good think about that earlier, just about the track, and I think there's not enough songs out there, I think, celebrating love. So and definitely, I'll put my hand up. There's definitely some heartbreak and heartache songs on the album. There's always going to be those tracks, but it was nice to sort of come out with this and, just have a bit of a hands up for the lovers out there.
Oh.
Yeah. And, well, you did, take off at a very young age to go and adventure around America.
Yeah.
Is there any plans for you to take off and go adventure around Europe or England in the near future?
Yes, there is. Actually, when I first took off, I went and lived in London for a while. Right. It was when I lived in London that I became friends with Keith Richards' daughter from the Rolling Stone, and I actually went on tour with them through Central and South America, and that's kind of what took me to America at first. So I found out last night that I've been selected to go on an electronic music songwriting convention in Los Angeles, which I leave for in a month's time. And from there, I will be going to the UK, where I'll be doing performances around Fashion Week, and just getting a bit of a scope and reacquainting myself with Europe. It's been a while, so I'm looking forward to knocking back a few beers. Truth be told, I don't drink beer, but I could definitely try down an ale in an old English pub.
That's awesome, but you're telling me that one thing you don't put on your bio is that you've toured with the Rolling Stones.
Was that not there?
No, that's not there.
I know. No, it was a extremely strange twist of events that brought that incident around, but I was gigging on the south coast of London in a very sleepy town where people kind of went to die, no offence, West Wittering, but every Friday I would gig in the pub there, and I also ran the pub and lived in the pub. It was my means of survival, and a woman would come in every week, or a girl would come in, and she kept saying, "Can you please give me one of your CDs? Just bring one of your CDs." And I thought, yeah, whenever. Eventually, after about 6 months, I gave her a CD after a constant nagging, and she came in a week later and she said, "I played this to my dad and he really loves it, and he'd really like to know if you'd like to come on tour with him and his band." And I said, "Oh." I said, "Who's your dad?" And she said, "Have you heard of Keith Richards?" And guess I didn't know who it was. And I said, "Oh, I feel like, I feel the name's familiar." And she said, "Oh, you heard of the Rolling Stones, you get." And I thought, oh my God, one time in my life to be cool, and I've totally just annihilated it. And, before I knew it, I was on a plane to Mexico, and, they went private jet, obviously. I just kind of flew over and, who knows, Air Mexico. And I arrived at the Four Seasons, greasy hair, my guitar, a big backpack, thinking, these guys aren't even going to let me through the front door. Look at me, I'm a mess. And, I was welcomed with open arms. I got given a huge, big suite. And, it was just so eye-opening. They were playing in front of crowds of hundreds and thousands. And, I was either side of stage or behind stage and doing a couple of little side gigs with them in Mexico City. And, it really dawned on me, how exuberant the music industry can be, and how lucky these guys were, and what an incredible journey they'd had.
And you obviously don't know enough about the Rolling Stones if you didn't think you'd be welcome just because you're a mess.
I know, right? I mean, they don't care about that stuff. They're all such legends. Mick is definitely the rock star. He definitely kept his distance, but I loved Keith and I loved Ronnie, and, Keith often would call my, room in the middle of the day or at the end of the day and say, "What are you doing, girl? Come up to my room, eating guacamole with the girls and drinking margaritas. We're going to watch Forrest Gump, then Kill Bill, all right? Come up here, part of the family." I'd go up and his daughters would be there, and, we'd all sort of hang out, and, it was great for me because all these fashion labels would send his daughters, clothes, and they were like, "Oh, I don't really want it. Penny, do you want them, or are we going to throw them out?" And I was just putting them all in my bag. Yeah. I went home a rich woman.
Penelope, I believe, is Keith Richards' daughter's a model? Is that correct? Yeah. So that's how you would have got a link to playing at the fashion festival?
Well, sort of. I mean, I do still keep in touch here and there with Theodora and Alex, but the way that sort of happened, that was all just kind of through music, and I guess, people talking to people and, spreading the word and having my music out there. My little brother actually, you know, by another strange twist of fate, you know, went from sort of someone that, you know, didn't have a job and, you know, just surfed all the time as a 20-year-old boy to getting picked up in Taylor Square in Sydney by a modelling guy and flown to Milan 3 days later. And he is now one of the biggest catwalk models in Europe at the moment. So actually my little brother is the one teeing up a lot of this.
Oh, that's fantastic. But even for yourself, you'd be playing in front of a lot of famous faces in the crowd. At those kind of events, it'd be, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just crazy. You know, he keeps
Seems
sending
surreal.
me photos and he's hanging out with Rita Ora and he's talking about Kendall Jenner and all these girls. And I'm thinking, like, it kind of annoys me a little bit because I think, hang on a minute, I meant to, you know, get there first. You're my little brother. You need to, like, slow down and let me catch up.
You want to get some of his friends into one of your videos.
Yes, well, that's the plan. We're going to be talking about that in the UK and potentially shooting some new videos while I'm over there, and he's definitely keen, and I'm definitely keen to get some of his friends on board. So it's going to be a really fantastic trip. I arrive in September, and, you know, it's great. The beginning of spring, you know, I guess it is here. I suppose over there it's the beginning of August, but it's going to be a really magical time, and I can't wait.
Yeah, it sounds like you've had, like, some pretty exciting things just pop up, and I guess you just never know what could happen next.
Yeah, I was saying that to actually my barista today. I said, you know, life is just one big, massive opportunity. You know, you could be at the bottom of the barrel one day and think that there's nowhere else to go but down, and whether that could even happen because you're so far down. And then, you know, in 24 hours, your whole life can do a 360 because of one thing. And I've definitely learnt that over my life. And when I look back on my life and realise how lucky I am and how grateful I am that I've had so many weird twists and turns along the way that at times didn't make sense, but now they make total sense because it wouldn't have led me to a certain place which has got me here. So, yeah, it's very precious, definitely, life, how it all sort of works out, and I'm very lucky.
But I think you should give yourself credit because those things happened because you had the courage to pick up and go somewhere to follow your dream.
Oh, thank you. You know, you sort of, I guess you do learn a little bit about yourself and you do find courage, and I guess you get to a point where it's nice to have people like yourself recognise, you know, the strength that you've had burning away in your belly, which we've all got, and you think sometimes, you know, no one else really notices it. And so it's lovely to hear. And, you know, there's a lot of musicians out there who are way more talented than me. You know, I'm first to put my hand up. But, you know, you're right. It's all about gut, sticking in there and not sort of falling off the path, because it is easy to do in this industry. You need to have pretty thick skin to get so far. So, you know, hang in there.
Well, exactly. It's a lot of people have got talent, but it's the ones who have got the courage to chase it. They're the ones who make a difference.
Put yourself out there, getting out of your comfort zone, and, you know, travelling over long distances, like from New York all through Oklahoma.
Yes, that's right. You know, I was thinking the other day, and I was just thinking to myself, you know, travel, the lessons you learn in travel are way more valuable than the lessons you can learn in any classroom. You know, travel teaches you perspective, it makes you grow up, it makes you think about things, and it's I would encourage anybody to get on a plane and go overseas, even if you only have $150 in your pocket, because who knows how it could turn out.
Exactly.
You're very inspiring, Penelope.
Yeah.
If you are going with only $150, though, do try and have a return ticket somewhere.
I was about to say, worst comes to worst. If you don't get anywhere, the country will just kick you out and return you back to your own country anyway. So, you know, last resort.
Good to know.
Yes, a return ticket is always, I think that's always a must. I don't think you can get into many countries now without a return ticket.
I will actually tell people they can find you at facebook.com/Penelope Austin Music.
Yes, that's right.
And you have PenelopeAustin.com is your website.
That is true.
The new single, Trigger, is out now.
Yes,
and
correct.
People will have to keep an eye out at PenelopeAustin.com or Penelope Austin Music on Facebook for when that album is coming out, and also some live shows.
Yes, yeah, we've definitely got some of them on the horizon. I'm going to go give it a good nudge over in the US and the UK for the next 3 months, but I'll be back in a big way for summer.
Awesome. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you so much, and thanks so much for the chat, guys. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Penelope.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time, and I will actually now play for people your new single, Trigger.
Oh, big love to you, Kat. I love that. Thank you.
Awesome, and definitely we'll have a chat when that album's coming out, hey?
I would love to. We need to reconnect on that, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you very much. This is Penelope Austin and Trigger. You're listening to Collision. We'll be back.